Hi everyone, and welcome to the Romeros Rambling Podcast. My name is Jay, otherwise known as Bear, the clan leader of this fine establishment. With me today is...
I am Brummie, otherwise known as Jake, and I am an alcoholic.
Hi, I'm Ethan, otherwise known as Cupcake, and apparently me getting laid is the funniest thing my fart's ever heard.
Hi, I am Jodie, otherwise known as Pinkie, and I just turn up every so often.
Well, hello, people. I'm here to make this clear what this podcast is and what it's going to become. Basically, this is episode 1 of potentially one or potentially many. And we're just gonna ramble. We ramble a lot anyway. We thought, fuck it, we'll record it. We'll try and talk about some games and technology. We'll try and talk about stuff that Romeros enjoy. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you can go fuck yourself. I guess
Quality banter.
Top quality banter. I guess the most natural way to start is to be like, so Bear, glorious leader, what have you been playing this week?
This week, Jacob, I've been playing a lot of Legion, really. Pretty much all of my time's been going into Legion. I've really been enjoying it since its release.
I think we all have, though. To be fair, I mean, other than Jodie, but I think we have all been playing Legion. I mean, Ethan's addicted, so.
Wait, what? I can quit any time I want. I can quit
You
any
say that
time I
about a lot
want.
of things.
I
I
said
say
that about
about
but
alcohol, about bread,
mate, you can't quit bread.
About McDonald's.
about McDonald's.
The face when we saw you was 6 slices of bread.
Fun story, people. We, all four of us, ended up going on a trip to McDonald's at 4:30 in the morning.
Because we are
Morning.
modern day rock and roll stars, basically.
Was it a fun story?
No.
No, it was a desperate story. That's what it was.
It was definitely a dire moment of
It was
us still
definitely a
being
bad
awake.
idea. My stomach is still in pain from
I
that.
mean, you say it was a bad idea, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I mean, I'm tempted to go after this podcast, to be honest.
No, you're fucking not. No, you're fucking not.
Oh.
No, let's not joke about
I did
don't
enjoy
even tempt
the
me.
couple next to us while we were at McDonald's.
Oh, you mean the one we had some people, audience, who had just kind of collapsed on the table and given up on life.
that.
She had like a coffee and she put her head up at one point, just leaned forward, grabbed the straw in her mouth, was there for like 2 seconds and then just collapsed again. Just, bless her.
Also, for anyone listening, we'd like to apologise for Pinkie's audio. She will be purchasing a new headset soon.
If you want to know why she sounds so bad, she is recording from the inside of Cupcake's arsehole.
It's my new home.
It's very
the last
spacious.
thing I want in my
It's
arsehole
very,
is
very
Jodie.
spacious.
So, apart from Cupcake's anus, how's everyone? Apart from you, Jodie, how have you two found Legion as a new expansion?
It's been a lot better than I thought it was going to be when they announced it, to be honest. It's definitely not well, it is fan service, the expansion, but it's good fan service, which is always a bonus. What about you, Ethan?
Why am I paying 10 quid to work? Why am I paying 10 quid a month to do a job?
It is a lot of fucking dailies, let's be fair.
It's so much every day. It's really, really stupid. Nice to have a lot of content, but it feels like you go a day and you're just so far behind.
The story is so good, though. The
It
story
really
is so
is.
good.
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed the stories for what characters I do have over level 100. Mostly been playing Demon Hunter myself, as most people know. Really, really enjoyed that class. That's probably my favourite aspect from Legion, to be honest. Although I keep saying,
I mean, it was a 2 out of 10.
I find the class odd because when I look at Demon Hunters, especially with like the mobility and crits and leather armor, I always look at them and think about like a rogue type class.
Yeah.
They're a class that excels so much on doing AoE
They're
rather
like
than single
AoE
target.
AoE rogues, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
Probably a little more squishy than rogues are. It's hard to say. I mean, I've also been playing a lot of Demon Hunter. Though we should point out at the time of recording this, before any like raid tiers have been released, we're before Suramar as well has been properly kind of introduced to. We're very early on in the expansion, but like the game is definitely a lot better than it was in Warlords of Draenor. And if you
I mean-
didn't enjoy WoD, you'll probably like Legion a little bit.
I mean, like, I don't know. I'm mainly looking forward to raids now. Like, Stormwar's arguably the best Iron Blizzard's ever done for a while. Like, by far. Like, nothing comes close.
Do you think?
Yes. I just think it's nice to have an actual zone which matters and is actually challenging. Like, most zones, these, like, prior to this, you literally just go through whatever. You're just doing it to get levels, and here, you're here for a good reason. It's like actual endgame content. It's not raids. It's
What
I think I agree with Cupcake.
Yeah,
there.
I think I enjoy Suramar, but I actually really enjoyed, as much as I hated the expansion overall. I thought Nagrand was really good in Warlords of Draenor. I
the
thought that
brand
was a really good.
nice, but I think
zone.
for me, it was more having an endgame content like pre-raids.
That like what you mean, like what Tanan Jungle basically should have been. Really.
Yeah, what Tanan Jungle should have been if it actually hit at launch. It's nice to have content to actually do that matters before raids hit and gives Blizzard like a groundwork to work on extra content.
I've got to say, what I'm kind of curious about is, have you seen much of Legion, Jodie?
I mean, I've seen a bit of it. I sat and watched Jay play it for a bit and got confused by all his buttons. But
Have you been tempted to come back to WoW, play a bit of Legion?
I mean, I have, but the problem is that spending £10 a month on something that I probably don't have time or effort for, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So maybe you should like sell it to me. Tell me why I should
sell it to you.
I have to admit. By the way, if anyone's watching this and isn't up to scratch with the latest expansion, I believe it's around 40 quid. £40 on Blizzard. Am I wrong there?
I can look it up. Hang on.
It's something about that. It's been a while since I purchased it, but it's about 40 quid. You do get a level 100
It's
boost.
It's actually very cheap now. Oh well, it's very cheap on cdkeys.com.
Well, there you go. Head over to Kingwin, isn't it?
Head over to Kingwin, where you'll probably be able to get it for like £27.
I'll be honest. I did use our discount on Kingwin to buy it. I think I paid about £25 at the time. But yeah, you get a level 100 boost, which is great for some people that just don't have the time to put too much time into the game. Jodie. Demon Hunter is a hero class, so it starts at level 98. So pretty much you boost a character if you don't already have one at level 100. As soon as you've got a level 100, you can play the Demon Hunter. It's pretty much the same rules as if anyone with us ever played back in Lich King when they introduced the Demon Hunters. Death Knights, sorry. Same with those where you can only have one at the moment, and they are only limit. I say one per realm, obviously, and they are only limited to Death Knights on my mind now. They are only limited to Blood Elves or Night Elves. So, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think they had to. It's an odd choice of races because obviously one of them's like a vanilla race and the other one's a Burning Crusade race, and you would have thought, I guess, that they would have picked two from the same kind of era, so it didn't kind of shift the balance a bit.
Well,
but it makes most sense. Lore, yeah, I was going to say the lore of it makes sense.
Yeah, Night Elves makes sense because obviously Demon Hunters are obviously it's all to do with Illidan. So of course Night Elves, and I guess that they were just going for, closest to that on Horde side.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly recommend to anyone. It's not the best Warcraft book, but Illidan, the new Warcraft book explains Demon Hunters very well. And if you're thinking about getting into Legion, it's definitely worth picking up. It's like seven quid maybe from Amazon. It's a decent book. It's a very, very decent book.
Well, we'll find the link and put it below.
Yeah, we'll have like a whole link dump
Like-
for all that shit.
How are you guys feeling about Emerald Nightmare and the new raid coming out? Especially with LFR, meaning anyone can do it, really.
Well, I mean, I'll do it in LFR. I just don't have the time to devote to properly raiding it anymore. So,
yeah.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, LFR is like looking for raid, and they reduce the difficulty of the raids like significantly, and you can just join up with random players. So yeah, that's probably how I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've put a lot of time into Legion at the moment because I have no other, real life commitments at the moment. Although, admittedly, like you were saying earlier, it does kind of feel like a job because even on my main, as much as I've been enjoying the whole new areas and storyline and stuff, it like if I ever go to level up my ults, I can't spend too much time on them, otherwise I get carried away and I'm not focusing on gearing up the main or collecting the order resources, which is normally my biggest problem, running out of order resources.
Like, I don't know. I find I'm an abundance of order resources now. Because when you get to the upgrades being like once
You do play a lot.
I was gonna say
that's
you
easy-
really
easy for
invest the
someone that
time.
doesn't
Right.
sleep.
I mean,
Dawn that doesn't speak
sometimes I
up for me,
like to
mate.
think that you're actually a human being, and that somewhere beneath the wires that connect you to the internet,
Right, I'm sorry.
you sleep.
I don't sleep, mate. You know that.
Yeah,
Too
I think
busy singing Black Radio in the morning.
this is my main issue with stuff like WoW and MMOs and everything like that. Like you guys are saying, everything just feels a little bit like a chore. Because I love the whole lore aspect of World of Warcraft, but the issue is that I can't find the motivation to do all these daily quests and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'd love it if there was an RPG like the original.
I think
Yeah, if you know people playing it as well, so you can kind of all do it together.
Yeah, I think, I mean, well, obviously speaking from the clan point of view, we've got quite the handful of people in the clan on both the Horde and the Alliance side, which have been helping the more casual players. Admittedly, we are more casual players overall. So I think, to be honest, if you were interested in getting in it, you could easily get by not focusing on doing all of the dailies and stuff. Obviously, the main reason why we're doing it is, gear up for things like raids and, just trying to get achievements, all of the artifacts. In fact, that's another thing about Legion, which I don't think we've covered yet, is the whole artifact system. Because obviously there was news released about that beforehand that had everyone on edge, really.
It's a cool kind of system, but at the same time, I can't help it. It removes a bit of individuality away from your character. The fact that everyone's got one of these free weapons, and it's just another thing to min max, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Really
Yeah,
is.
I do. When I went into my mage class hall, and there was just every fire mage, because obviously fire mage is popular in WoW at the moment. Every fire mage with the same weapons, and it was just like, it was interesting.
I was laughing earlier because obviously, Jody was saying about how WoW's a chore, but I mean, one of the other things that we were going to talk about today is how Eve has become free to play, and that is like the biggest chore MMO in like ever that has existed. I mean, it's literally spreadsheet simulator. It's fucking ridiculous.
Pretty much.
That is another interesting topic. It's definitely a big thing in the gaming community at the moment about Eve becoming free to play. I mean, I know a lot of people.
This is ignorance here. Is it free to play, or is it just free to start now?
Right, basically, from what I understand, I haven't actually fully researched on this at the moment, but from what I found out when I looked at it when I first got informed about this whole scenario, is that I don't actually know how familiar you guys are with the game. So if I go on about anything that you're not too familiar with,
I've played a very light amount of Eve.
I think it's probably safe to say that I've probably invested the most time into Eve. I mean, I don't play it anymore, obviously, but over the years, I used to play with my brother to the point we used to run around in nullsec with alliances and stuff back when Goon Swarm was new. So, and now they dominate. Well, I say new, but early stages. Anyway, from what I understand, is that basically it's free up until tier. I think tier 2 ships is the maximum that you can go up to on a free account.
So they've kind of taken like the SWOTOR models, Star Wars MMO for anyone who doesn't know SWOTOR, where you can go that basically through the game completely free, but if you want to say in SWOTOR it's access expansions, you have to pay.
Yeah.
So in Eve you have to pay if you want the like better ships, basically. Is that what the kind of thing it is?
I mean, I'd have to say that that's a very broad free-to-play game to compare it to. I mean, you know, I don't want to get into SWOTOR. I mean, you know, I've got a lot I can say about SWOTOR, but it's not really big on news at the moment.
Just on Hero, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very different to how SWOTOR do it. But essentially, yeah, if you want to train anything past tier 2 ships, which I believe tier 2 goes up to like battleships anyway, then you need to be a subscriber. Personally, I think that this is good. A little bit of a pause there. But no, it was something that I'd been discussing with some of the other clan members before, and I was saying, like, because there was some clan members that said to me about how they don't think it's that big of a deal because sometimes when they're really bored, all they do is buy like tier 1 ships and go into nullsec anyway, and just like try to fuck around with ships down there. So, you know, it doesn't restrict players from still being able to, because obviously when I played it properly, it was a whole kind of scenario where realistically up to tier 2 ships and you know would stick around low sec, and then past tier 2 you're going on to your bigger ships that you know you'd normally have around null sec. So that was obviously typically, yeah, as I said, tier 2 up to low sec, tier 3 and beyond normally null sec, but obviously that proves that it doesn't restrict people from going into null sec.
I think the other big thing as well is that these days, if you're going to make an MMO and you're not WoW, then you need it to have some sort of free-to-play entry. I mean, even WoW these days is up to level 23. It might even be past that now.
It's certainly up to level 20.
But you know, you have to have this. You have to be able to compete and to let people try your game, because people don't want to fork out for a game or pay £8 a game and then like, oh, I'm 10 weeks into Eve and I think it's shit and I've just paid like so much money for it, you know.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. I mean, Eve's been around for 13 years now, and I mean, the fan base it's currently got has been around for a long time. And I just think new players are kind of put off by the whole spreadsheet simulator thing and stuff like that. I think it's frigates, destroyers, and cruisers that you can still access.
You can still access up to battleships tier 2.
Oh, is it battleships as well?
Yeah, battleships are tier 2.
Oh, that's okay then.
I think for me, the issue is with Eve. It's like I want to hear more about it, like what people are doing in it, and run play it. It's like The min-maxing is just, as people say, it's just spreadsheets. It's so much work.
It is a game, though, isn't it? Where people talk about it and you hear about things and
it's
you're like, that sounds fucking amazing.
Hear like some epic space battle. This is the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard.
You go back and you watch it on YouTube and it's just like fucking Lag City while like people are moving like an inch a second.
It looks Lag City. You put it on like 10 times speed on YouTube. It looks relatively fun, but
yeah. Well, I mean, they're even trying to get into esports now. I mean, Event is something that goes off in Nottingham, and I think it's had a European tour as well. I know I help out with it, and I mean, it draws massive crowds, like up to I think 200 we had at the last one. So I mean, the player base is still there. I just think it needs a push, and I think this is probably going to help.
I was going to say, I think if anything, those events now are only going to get more popular with the free-to-play entry, because people are going to be definitely more interested in like turning up to events. I mean, I think that's the same reason why The Crew has gone free-to-play, because I think, isn't that an online-only game? Anyone who knows about The Crew?
I think it's a bit like Burnout Paradise, but like it's online generally. You just drive around the States. But I went free on Uplay's club thing that they've been doing, where you get a free game a month or the 30-year anniversary of Uplay, like Ubisoft.
I have to admit, I have no idea what The Crew is. So
it's from memory, I think they approached it as like an MMO, but for driving and for racing games.
Well, that's what they tried to advertise it as, and it just kind of fell flat.
Have you played it, Jenny?
Sounds a bit like No Man's Sky.
We can rant about No Man's Sky later.
See, the thing is with The Crew, it's fine. Like, it's fine as a racing game. There's nothing special about it. But the thing is, they advertised it as this like kind of innovative racing game, and it was just full of glitches. The UI was absolutely ridiculous, and it was so full of microtransactions that people just really get into playing it. The storyline itself is a bit weird. It's not the kind of game that I thought would work with the storyline, and it doesn't. But it being free, it's not like the worst free game that you can play.
To be fair, can you remember like the last time that there was like a solid racing game with a good storyline?
I mean, yeah, that's very true.
To be fair, Need for Speed tries. Need for Speed does try.
Rep the old Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise.
Can we like go back to like Burnout 3 when it was good, please? When it was really, really good, sorry. But like, for me, The Crew just seems like a shit Burnout Paradise from what I've seen them like dabbled in.
Well, I'm reading like the Steam reviews of it right now, and it doesn't get good reviews. I mean, there's some people here who've got like 141 hours on it who say it's actually really good. But at the same time, there's people here who are just like, it has areas that it really needs improvement on, and I mean that's the same with every game. But I think if you're gonna play a racing game, why bother one that you're gonna have to play like and do, I guess, dailies on? I mean that's probably wrong. Don't kill me, Crew players.
I spent too much time doing dailies on WoW. Thanks.
I think, if I was going to play a racing game and it was online, I'd want it to be free to play though, because those games always have mountains of micropayments for cars and shit. So if I was paying for it already, I'd be I'd be proper fucked off about it. I would not be impressed.
The upcoming expansion sounds quite interesting though. It's going to be released in November.
Warlords of Brooklyn.
That's expansion. No, it's going to be like you get the opportunity to play as a police officer and you have to arrest like street racers, stuff like that.
Oh, they're going for like the Need for Speed Most Wanted kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think so.
That was quite some time ago, but I actually enjoyed that game.
Is that the one? Is that the one that came out around the same time as like Tokyo Drift? They really caught the kind of like street racing vibe with it, and it was actually did quite well.
What Most Wanted one we on about? We're on about the one by the Criterion guys.
No, the one before that.
The Criterion guys one was the best one.
I can't say I haven't played the Criterion one.
I was going to say there was two Most Wanted. There was 2005 or 2012.
I loved the 2005 one. That was a brilliant game.
2012 one was my favourite.
I was going to say I think it would have been 2005.
I think I played the 2005 one on my Nintendo DS. That was my life.
That was at that stage of brilliance, where basically Nintendo were like, "Oh, we are a real console, so just put any game on DS or Wii, and you'll be able to play it." And they always used to be such a shit show.
The thing is with the DS though, is it just that thing sold millions of units. So it's ridiculous how successful the original DS is.
It did have a good heritage though, coming from like
It-
the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance.
DS also had some like incredible games.
Plus Pokemon. I mean, that's always going to sell you
Yeah,
consoles.
exactly. I mean, look at Pokemon Go.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
can we not get started on Pokemon Go? I make it like my life challenge to
Well,
just
guys.
avoid Pokemon Go.
Well, guys, welcome to the Weeb section of the podcast.
Yeah.
Literally,
Brought
as
to you by
we
Pinkie.
we're filming this podcast after we just went bowling and had a bit to drink. But basically, as we were walking back, Pinkie and another member of the clan, who I won't disclose because I can never remember how to pronounce her name, which isn't a real name. Adalia, there we go.
Adalia, also known as Laura, our other flatmate.
We're just like fucking around the streets, chasing squirrels and shit. Looks
No,
absolutely
Oddish.
ridiculous.
I'd never heard anyone so excited about an Oddish before.
What does an Oddish even look like? I need this described to me.
Oh, I'll send you a photo.
Oh
Can you
god.
just describe it from memory? Don't
Kind of
send
like
a photo.
I mean, okay.
A purple, like, I don't know, like, it looks like a kind of big purpley grape
Imagine
with
an onion.
leaves out the head.
I'm
Like
imagining an onion, right?
Right, okay. But it's a blue onion,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's got a little face on it.
That sounds fucking awful.
I mean, I want you to draw this.
I mean, I would draw it, but my drawing would probably look more like a hairy testicle than it would a blue onion.
I didn't
mean,
think that
it
we were
looks a little
drawing
bit
Ethan
like
on the Wii here.
Even on the Wii, yeah.
There you go.
Fucking
I'm sending
shots
you
fired,
Oddish.
Mate, you were the one who made yourself look like a testicle on our Wii, not us.
How?
I've
Those
just-
wrinkles
that-
everywhere.
I'll include
yeah,
the photo that Jodie sent to me in the link dump, but it looks like a fucking plant. That's what it looks like.
I also feel like I should just include a picture of Ethan's me to see how many people agree that he looks like a testicle.
Isn't it my one that looks like a testicle?
No, it's Ethan's. Yours
Um,
looks like a kind of fucking samurai sensei.
I'm not quite sure what Jake's look like. It's just ridiculous.
For anyone who doesn't know, the reason why me always looks like a sensei is because, despite being at the humble age of 19, I am balding like a pensioner.
Pensioners don't bold as well as you.
That is very true. I rock it. I look sexy as fuck all the time. But I mean, you're going to be buzzing, Jodie, because well, you're not going to be buzzing. In fact, you're going to be fucking fuming because after Brexit, we're no longer going to be able to take advantage of what the EU want, which is free Wi-Fi and 5G in 4 years everywhere across the EU. Imagine the Pokemon Go you could play with 5G.
This just reminds me of the Parks and Rec episode, where Ben White's going to get like the free Wi-Fi from that really weird company. It's like going to be a Facebook ripoff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit that it was only today when Jake was actually mentioning about this earlier that I realised about the whole European free Wi-Fi plans.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
It's-
I'm not sure if it's set in stone, but basically the guy who came up with it, someone important, basically said he wants it in 4 years and to do with an added feeling of interconnectivity across the EU and how everyone should have access to good internet.
I mean,
Yeah,
the thing
no,
is,
I agree with that,
we
definitely.
won't get it over here anyway because there's already the campaign against BT with Ofcom to get them to give up the wires and stuff so other companies can take control of the internet because of BT consistently lacking behind. Like anyone that lives in like the country and that will know how terrible like the internet is out there and how they still like they got broadband like 5 years later than everyone at least, and most of them still don't have fiber, and like it's the same for most of the country really, which is a crying shame.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point now where in a lot of countries, across basically the whole of the United States, they're getting like gigabit internet, and we're still stuck here on we've got good internet speed where we live at like 100 meg, and to think that in the States they get like 10 times that is ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure, like, Portugal, 2 Portuguese members we have get something like they have ridiculous download speeds. I can't remember accurately off the top of my head, but I know that they was definitely in the gigabytes.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those. It's one of those things where I think we do consistently lag behind on it. Just it doesn't help that you talk to some people and you go, oh, you go to a rural village up, somewhere north, somewhere that like muffins would live. Shout out to Angry Muffins. Where, all the old people would be like, I don't want your fucking fibre around here, boys.
I think the
We
thing
use
is,
letters here.
we're getting to such a point in society where you need internet. Like, you can't really go day to day without internet just for basic stuff now.
Yeah, it's a grim thing to say, though, isn't it? Really,
It
that
is
we
really,
need
like-
internet all the fucking
I
time.
remember doing it in
But
college.
you also have to like consider about how much like the internet brings people together as well. Like, things like this clan.
Aww, you get
Aw.
all sentimental.
Horrible.
Bringing tears to my eyes.
Aww.
Like,
What you don't realise is that we actually all met on eHarmony. We didn't. I should point out.
Like-
We met in each other's dreams.
Wow.
it wasn't a dream, mate. It was a nightmare.
Aww.
Oh, that's just very rude. It's this is the first podcast we're doing. We've been so friendly. I mean, I might have said
Bullshit.
that Jodie lived in
we,
your
we, should, we
arsehole.
should point out to all the
Bullshit.
viewers that Ethan here, like,
Ethan here
continuously,
is the butt of
continuously.
all fucking jokes in this flat.
I think you'll
No,
find
Mostly on suicide watch because some of these cunts.
suicide watch. I would arguably
we're
say
not
he's
as
the
bad.
biggest bully we know.
We're not as bad as he makes out, we promise.
No, they're worse.
I mean, at least you don't get short jokes all the time.
That is very true.
That
Alright,
hit
well,
my
you
heart.
know, if you stop being a hobbit for 5 minutes.
I mean, I try.
Can you repeat that, Jodie? I couldn't actually hear you from up here.
Jake, you're like 3 inches taller than me.
I know. Well, that 3 inches matter.
Do they?
That's how big he was the other day.
Oh God, we don't need to
Aw.
talk about what you and
Your sexual
your
exploits.
sexual
Mate,
exploits.
you guys have been winding me up about it all fucking week.
Exactly, but I
mean-
like right now. I'm picturing Tor sitting watching this, which he won't. Well, listening to it and then just hearing about us discuss your sexual habits and just cringing.
What about your
So
mum
Tor,
watches
I'm
this?
saving you from this.
If my
This is
mum
me
heard
directly
this,
saving you.
I'd honestly probably just shoot myself.
Aw.
I think
So,
we're hilarious, guys. Don't
yeah.
worry.
I just figured, as a matter of fact, because this is going up on YouTube and stuff. I'm guessing everyone's up to date with the latest changes to YouTube about the whole money situation.
It's really odd, isn't it? How they've gone about it. Like to be like, oh, these days you can't be rude or offensive if it's going to offend our advertisers.
Ooh.
Like, it's so odd. It's really strange to me.
I kind of like it because it's kind of become a bit of a controversial topic. I find everyone has very, very different opinions. Well, I say everyone, but there's definitely defined groups of people with different. Personally, I'm on the team where I think it's I don't necessarily want to say it's a good thing, but at the same time, I mean, I know that our channel isn't exactly big. We don't rake in money from it, so I can't speak on the terms of some of these YouTubers that have it as their their actual work and income. But personally, I'm on more the team of YouTube side, really. I think it's a bit. I mean, at the end of the day, YouTube is a business, and I suppose for me, someone who's studied business.
Here we go again. Here's what Jay studied, lads.
Get ready for Steve Jobs, boys.
Get ready for this lecture.
No, I'm not going to sit here and give a business lecture, but at the end of the day, it is their business, the whole YouTubers are essentially like the face of their business.
Yeah, but I think the thing is YouTube works as like a medium, isn't it? It's like a publisher. A publisher sells books, but people will buy books. Some people want like offensive, kind of controversial things, and the moment a publisher says, "Oh, we're only going to publish books that work a certain way," they lose a whole section of their audience.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of publishers do that.
Oh yeah, they do, but I think there's a certain. I mean, YouTube was kind of started, and it grew, didn't it, really, as like a bastion of free speech and free video on the internet, and then obviously they sold it and got filthy rich off it. But even under Google for a while, it's maintained that freedom, that creative freedom.
But the thing is, as well.
Sorry.
You get back.
Okay. I should have more refined my answer earlier. When I was saying that I was more on YouTube's side, I don't necessarily actually agree with all of their stuff. Someone like me, I tend to swear a lot, as you guys know, and other people do know. When I'm not making videos, when I'm not making videos, it's kind of an environmental, upbringing that. So it doesn't really bother me as much. I have to admit as well, I'm someone that likes watching people on YouTube like Philip DeFranco, if people are familiar with him.
Big fan of Philly D.
Yeah, covers a lot of news stuff, and
I
think it's awful in the aspect that they're restricting like controversial topics, because obviously that affects him.
Well, he's a news channel, isn't he? That's the kind of awfulness about it, that they're saying you can't talk about that in that way when all he's doing is representing his opinion on the news, which is a bit grim.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but I do sort of. I am in YouTube's boat on the whole, like about showing too much violence or too much swearing. I mean, as far as I'm aware, you can still swear and get money for it as long as it's not like an obscene amount of swearing.
Well, we hope so, YouTube, if you want to throw us some money.
But I think the thing is as well, from like the kind of research I've done about this, is it's been this way since 2012. The only reason it's kind of come into fruition and the art of it is because all these YouTubers suddenly get notifications for it, which is what they've done with the update of their policies. So essentially, a load of big YouTubers had a load of notifications just going, "We demonetize this, we demonetize that." Now they can actually put claims in.
I was going to say, surely there's like a legal case there, though, to say that YouTube have kind of been stealing money off them by not notifying them, surely?
I wouldn't exactly say, you can't class it as stealing money off them.
It's not stealing, really. But, like, for me, I feel the whole thing is YouTube's done what they've done in the past, where they've just gone to one complete extreme and then brought it back, because it makes them look like the good guys in the end.
Yeah.
They've done this numerous times. It's like, oh, look, we're going to do this. This is really extreme, but then
I think we should say, though, but to be clear, that YouTube is by far nowhere near one of the worst big corporations when it comes to the internet. They're a good company.
I mean, I'm not going to call Google know way too much about people, but that's another bottle of worms I don't want to go into.
Fair enough.
I feel the biggest issue is people have created the monopoly of YouTube. Like, you've got so many other video services out there that could be YouTube videos instead, but they all went YouTube. They just sold dollar signs, not.
I think as well, it can partially be down to the fact that at the moment there's been a big rise, hasn't there, in YouTubers like Keemstar and like Leafy is Here, who's basically their entire channels are just like chatting shit about people, and some people are into that, and it can be very funny. I mean, all of us in our flat have a very like roasting kind of humour, but at the same time, I can see why they're trying to like discourage it on a kind of corporate scale.
The thing is, at what line does that go from? Like, with all those, like, I don't want to use this word because it feels a bit formal, but consensual. Because I know if you take it too far, I can say, but if you're doing that to some random stranger, that's not fair.
Exactly. I think that's what YouTube was trying to kind of make the point about, that, if you do it excessively, then we're going to make sure you don't get any money from it as kind of a deterrent.
surely that's just issues with certain channels, and they should be combating that as opposed to just trying to censor the whole website.
Well, I think their issue is that these channels are just massive. I mean, like, I think Leafy, I don't know, I'd have to check, but I swear at one point he had something like, he has easily a few million views on every video that he does.
Yeah. Well, I know Keemstar has
Someone has
just under 2
connected to
million
the server.
subscribers now, or it might be just under 1.5 million.
Well, hopefully we'll have just under 1.5 million when he listens to this and then roasts us for talking about him.
Oh. I don't understand people who get a kick out of bullying random people on the internet. You know, we all, let's be honest, we all make fun of each other, Ethan especially.
Yeah, you
But
can't.
if you're just finding random, it's not even just people, it's kids. You know, I did some stupid shit when I was a kid. There's a video of me somewhere running around my music blog shouting at year 7s.
That will be in the link dump below.
Don't know if it's still actually available on YouTube. It's on a different channel.
I was a saint when I was a kid.
No, you fucking weren't. I mean, I'm probably one of being the oldest person that I can actually remember the time when I could do stupid stuff and it won't go on the
Oh
internet.
yeah, sorry, Grandpa.
Alright, you shut up, you young whippersnap. You're only 2 years younger than me. You'll be granddad next week. Just
No,
so you know.
I definitely think when I was young, and I mean I'm the youngest here, that when I was first growing up, I could do loads of stupid shit, and the worst it would happen is someone would record it on their phone, but internet speed was so bad here that it would never go up on the internet. Like
Good
it would
old
just,
dial-up.
yeah, it would just be something would have, and then. But I do agree with what you're saying now, Jody. That when people do stupid shit now, the first thing that someone does is like, oh, Snapchat story, you know, or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where society is going wrong, not censorship.
Yeah,
I
I think you have to have the freedom, don't you, to make mistakes and to kind of fuck up. No one goes through life without fucking up. Apart from obviously me, because I am the embodiment of perfection.
Here we go again.
Um,
Let's hear this once, fucking more.
but I think I do feel bad for kids these days because so much of what they do is reflect on them. I mean, I cringe when I go back and look at my first Facebook posts. But imagine when you have Facebook when you're 6. Like you go back when you're 28 and you're like, oh, Ben 10 was good tonight, boys. Like, fuck that.
I mean, some of my statuses from when I was 13 years old are ridiculous. Like, just the stuff I was saying is just, and for somebody to go and make fun of that, it's got to be scarring, surely.
Well, I think that's why they're clamping down so heavily on cyberbullying and stuff, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, which I don't think is a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just gets way too out of hand now. The way
Why?
Facebook and stuff and everything's shared, even parents making profiles for their kids, what the hell?
I saw the other day, a Twitter account for a child managed by their parents, and I was like, well, if you're managing your child's Twitter account, surely they're too young to be on Twitter.
But all these servers are you need to be 13 to use that Facebook?
I think 13, yeah.
Yeah, you're meant to be 13. Most
Is
of
that
them
how
aren't.
young for Facebook?
Yeah, it's just teenagers. That's usually how this shit works.
Usually teenagers, but
I will double check.
it might be forms back in the old days where you used to have parents' permission to do it, and they'd have to fax in the form. I give this person permission to do this. If they're an idiot, it's their own fault.
It is 13. Yeah, it's 13.
Yeah, you're old enough to remember forms.
I mean, I'm just looking back at my memories on Facebook, and there's a status from 6 years ago today, which I would have been 15. And the status says, had this Lost Prophets song in my head for 3 days now, not impressed.
I did not know you're a fan of paedophiles, friend.
Apparently so.
Well, I mean, I remember very cringeworthy now that my first Facebook picture, at the time I'd been listening to a lot of Total Biscuit, and it was at the start of that kind of real trolling culture, especially the troll face, the meme. which grim to me that kids wouldn't even recognise that now. So in my infinite wisdom, I had like a top hat. So I put a top hat on and I did like the shittest kind of paint cut out of the troll face and put it over my face, and that was like my profile picture for ages. And I thought I was the most fucking edgy kid. It was so
That
grim.
still exists.
Maybe.
I'm
So glad that that I came to the whole social media scene, at a later stage.
See if I can find my memories.
I was 13.
I have no cringe.
Bullshit.
No.
I go
don't.
5 years and you'll be cringing up. Everything you said today, 5 years time,
I'll
you'll
be cringing. I'll be cringing at the photos I shared of us at Fleabus. Yeah, you're right, mate.
For people who don't know, Fleabus is a club that we get especially drunk at.
On the stove. Here we go.
Right, so this is why the podcast is called Romeros Rambling, because at some point we were talking about one of the things that we said we were going to. But
I'm actually too ashamed to say what was out there 7 years ago.
I mean, 7 years ago you were basically an adult, so it's kind of grim if you're posting shit things.
He still does post shit things.
Yeah, that is very true. Very, very true.
Post amazing
He posts
things.
statuses about all-time low. Ooh.
There's a line between banter and bullying, mate. Let's not cross it again. That's
Well,
your first strike.
while we're talking about banter and bullying, to make a very smooth segue, who is going to be bullying a lot of people in Mafia 3 when that comes out?
You know what? That is a game I'm going to be jumping all over. I mean, I know a lot of people are on the whole anti-pre-order bandwagon these days, but I don't care. Mafia has never let me down before.
I think Mafia is this like one of the best series of games going, because they at least wait a few years before they release the next one.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so much better to me. It's like, I have time to just... I've played through Mafia 2 at least 5 solid times.
They are consistently good games.
I've played through it more times than that, but I've just not finished it each time. But 5 solid times I've completed it.
I mean, we all know why
it looks great as well, though, doesn't it? It looks great, the new one. Like, not just the story of it, like graphically, it looks amazing as well.
Well, that's it. Like, I thought that even number 2 was obviously a massive graphical achievement.
But the biggest thing is right now, I can think is when I see Mafia 3 is I want a new Mafia. It's been that long, I just would happily play more Mafia.
Yeah.
When did the last one come out?
It's got to be like 3. Oh, when did the last one, or when does a new one come out?
When did the last one come out? Like what year?
I think it was got to be like 3 years, maybe 4 years.
3-4 years at least. I remember it coming out when I was in college.
2010.
So yeah, I mean 6 years. That's even longer, really.
Like.
Just shout out to Inferno there for getting his first honourable kill on WoW.
Oh well, shout out to Inferno for not being a total scrub. He probably just tagged it and then like fucked off.
Oh no, my bad. It's not his first honourable kill. He just got an achievement for killing a one of each class, except obviously Demon Hunter.
Except Demon Hunter, yeah. But I think, like, going back to Mafia 3, it's set in, like, New Orleans, I think, this time, right? Like, Louisiana?
I believe so.
And that's why I like it so much. It's like GTA, in that they kind of take you to a new place every time, and let you just fuck things up, which is amazing. We don't have enough of those kind of games. I don't know anything about the story, mind. I think it's about some guy who gets kind of like fucked right, and then just tries to take a revenge story.
Get out.
He gets Ethan'd, and then
get the fuck out. But basically, he joins what's its family. The guy from Mafia 2's got like higher up in the family, and you've got like the 4. From all the trailers, it's like you've got the 4 like main like family members. I forget what they actually call them in the Mafia thing now, but.
It's been a while, but I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, and you basically work for all of them from the looks of it, and you probably like rise up through the ranks as normal.
Yeah, when does it? I mean, now we've mentioned when the last one came out. When does Mafia 3 come out? It's got to be soon.
October the 7th.
October the 7th. So, oh bloody hell, that's next month. Well, there goes our uni work. Fuck's sake.
Wait, what uni work?
That is very true.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
But I mean, while we're talking about games that are coming out this year, they've just released the new kind of Corvo gameplay trailer for Dishonored as well.
Dishonored it's never been a game that I've been into.
Have you ever played it?
No, well, I've tried it over friends, but I've not really invested much time into it. I couldn't exactly say that it, appealed to me when I did try it.
I can honestly say I've probably completed Dishonored, like 100% it, probably like 10 times. It's one of my favourite games of all time. I love
I
Dishonored.
feel for me it was one of the best stealth games since Blood Money and Chaos Theory.
Yeah, easy.
It's
Very easily.
pretty on its own level of like brilliantness, and it nails the slow burn.
And the setting of it, because I mean the previous one was in like a kind of Victorian, steampunky, plague-infested England.
Like wasn't like set like heavily drawn now industrial era in that law.
Yeah, like it was very much like a ports and stuff like that. It was really, really good. And I'll definitely include the link for like Corvo's gameplay. Corvo, for anyone who doesn't know, is the main character of Dishonored and one of the two that you can play in the second one. I won't spoil the story because anyone who probably picks up Dishonored 2 will probably be trying to play through Dishonored before they do. But he's a fucking badass. That's all you need to know.
Well, let's put it this way: you've got time before 2 comes out to play 1.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I mean, I don't. I feel like the whole Emily thing, because I mean that was revealed in the trailer, so it's not like massive spoilers. I don't know how I feel about that. I really enjoy playing as Corvo, and it'll be interesting to see how the mechanics work as Emily.
I think it's one of these things where it's like a growing trend. Like we see it in Assassin's Creed, and we with like Jacob and Evie Fry in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. But
Assassin's Creed, that's been a game that's kind of let me down over the years, slowly.
I actually really like Syndicate. I thought that was a really good game. And Black Flag.
I loved the storyline of first one. I loved the second one. I loved Brotherhood. I even enjoyed Revelations.
I think after they finished Ezio's story, it just got a bit iffy.
Yeah,
well,
after
good
Ezio's
news
story.
for you guys because they announced
Black Sails was good.
Well, Black Flag. Yeah.
Black Flag was brilliant,
Black Flag,
but
sorry,
I didn't play it as an Assassin's Creed game. I felt like I just
it was like a Sea of Thieves, like bit realistic, wasn't it? Really. I mean,
it was good.
Really, it was just like the best pirate game that's been out in a very long time.
But I mean, they've just announced. Well, I think they've just announced. Don't quote me on this. That they're going to do a remastered Ezio collection where it's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and Revelations.
Why would 1 be in it? Altair's 1.
Oh, maybe 2 Brotherhood and Revelations. Then fuck it. Remastered.
I mean, I don't really want a remastered version of them games because they've not aged badly at all.
No, not sure. I don't care about remasters. Like, I completely understand wanting something to look like slightly prettier if it was released, early noughties. But now, from like 360 upwards, I'm just like, I can deal with a slightly shitter graphics.
I think it's one of these things where people see, like, people playing it on the PC, like with Skyrim, and because of the mods in Skyrim now, you can make it look like a modern game.
Yeah, exactly.
And like console gamers, like, oh, I wish I could have that. So studios' only options are to be like, okay, we'll give you a remastered edition of it.
I think the thing is, they sell, and they're a lot easier to make than a new game from scratch because you can probably have a small studio, small size team, like, because realistically, you have so many people working on the game, but there's going to be times in that process where some people don't have work to do on that game, so they can move to something else. It's
also, a great way of, if you're about to release a new game, to kind of drum up interest again. Like, I have no doubt that remastered Skyrim is going to, like, drum up interest for another Elder Scrolls game when they announce it, so...
I won't be surprised if we heard no Elder Scrolls at E3 next year.
I think the thing that angered me the most about, like, in any kind of remastered thing was when they announced the Last of Us remaster for the PlayStation 4.
Didn't it only come out on the PS4? I'm not a PS4 player.
It came out on PS3 beforehand, and I mean, it was one of the last games released on PS3. Well, kind of like big games to be released.
The thing is, like,
after the Kuni, I think, and then they were just like, "Oh, we're going to do a remaster for the PlayStation 4 as well." It's like...
The thing is, I think people forget is how much Last of Us actually pushed the PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah, pushed it to its limits.
It was one of the standout titles of the PS3 for certain.
100%.
I mean, I still yet to play it. If anyone ruins it for me, I will kill them. But that is something I can't stand. But what I have played of it from my mates is like it's a really, really good game on the PS4.
Yeah, I mean the PS4 is a pretty good console. I don't know how I feel about this new PS4 Pro thing.
Oh well, that's meant to be their like answer, isn't it? To, I think when I was reading about it earlier, they were saying that basically with how quickly PCs and the Xbox One S, I guess, and the Scorpio when it comes out are upgrading, that you need like a kind of boost up every time. So it is basically the PS5, but they're calling it the PS4 Pro because it's going to be able to play all of PS4 games as well.
Just say it's something that's been a long time coming because they're making such huge loss on consoles anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably buy a PS4 Pro, to be fair.
I was gonna say, if I remember correctly, like Sony lost out lots on PS3 anyway when
they lost.
The whole Blu-ray was great, and yes, it did convince a lot of people to buy it, but at the same time, they were spending way too much for compared to the retail price. I mean, especially back then, and how expensive Blu-ray was.
I think.
Sorry, go on, Ethan.
Blu-ray dropping to a normal price is nice, but also got to remember that it was like places like Disney and stuff that push for Blu-ray. Because when it's like someone like Disney decides, oh, we're going Blu-ray over HD, it's like they've already won. Yeah. They just like knocked Toshiba completely out of the park on it.
I think what Sony and like PS3 and PS4 have always suffered with as well, and it's by no means is it true anymore, is that when the 360 kind of came out, it got a reputation as like an adult console with like adult games, and I don't think like PlayStation have ever really shifted the reputation that theirs isn't an adult console, even though they probably get the more adult games these days. I just don't think people, especially these days, want a console with a reputation of being for kids. I just don't think they like it. If you want a kids console, buy a Wii.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the NX does, actually.
Hey.
I'll have you know that I still enjoy my Wii. My Just Dance on it.
How about that ninja game?
I was gonna say, like, has anyone else been excited for the new Civ 6 that's coming out? That's also in October.
I will not be leaving my room. Just one more time, lads.
Anyway.
I'm assuming that I'm probably the only one that saw the
the Grease video,
the Grease trailer yesterday.
There he goes again.
I did miss it.
Heracles leading my country.
I would say, and this is, if anyone from the Civ Studios listens to this, I would like to personally congratulate you for finally making an actual new game and not just fucking rehashing Civ again.
Yeah, but they did that with 5. They rehashed.
Yeah, but they made 5 worse. That was the worst thing. It wasn't as good as 4.
5 was good.
Yeah,
5 was not as good as 4. 5 was not as good as 4.
No, I'm not having this.
I'm not having this.
No, it would be absolutely fine if you was to sit here and say Beyond Earth wasn't as good as 5, but not 5 is not as good as 4.
Hang on. Let me... 5 base game.
Remove all your vanilla.
Yeah. Remove all the gods and kings and everything that made it half decent. Base 5 was not as good as 4.
5 vanilla was better than 4 vanilla.
I agree with
you. With these Civ games, they're only ever worth buying when the first X pack comes out.
We don't know. Civ 6 could be a whole... They've stolen a lot of mechanics from... is it Endless Legend? Like the other kind of similar game that's more fantasy based? I'll have to look it up. Hang on. I mean,
I'll tell you
please don't
one
fall to
thing-
silence. I was gonna say.
I was going to say though, probably the biggest thing that I liked about Beyond Earth, while everyone was sitting there absolutely complaining about it, I said, well, on the bright side, I don't have Gandhi threatening me with nukes every 5 seconds.
Oh, that is one of the greatest like video game kind of. I nearly said memes, but I don't want to sound like Laura. Kind of Easter eggs.
It
is a
it
meme.
is an Easter egg. No, it's an Easter egg.
It's hidden,
Gandhi
isn't it? It's like a
becoming-
hidden game mechanic.
I mean,
Gandhi
well, it was a
becoming,
bug.
like-
It was a bug.
Yeah, it was
Let's
a bug.
face it.
Gandhi becoming like such a vicious guy just turned into a meme though. Let's be honest. That turned into a meme.
I don't like
It's
the
not
idea
based
that
on
we're
her.
becoming, we're getting to this stage,
Yeah.
like where it's acceptable to just be. This has become a meme.
I
This
don't
is a
want a
meme.
meme-based
That's a
society. For me, it's a meme when I go on Facebook and I see it from like someone who's not interested in video games or some shit, and they're just quoting it because it's got that much into mainstream culture. It's not a meme if it's just like something that some Civ players can talk about, you know, like, oh, Gandhi, you know.
Yeah, but anyone that
Um,
plays games knows about the Gandhi in Civ.
I'm not sure they do, you know. I'm not sure it's
There-
as
there-
Pretty sure they do.
knowledgeable as it
there's
is.
not. I mean, people know that Gandhi is aggressive, but people don't know why. Like, there's been a lot of people in the clan that I've explained to that it started off as a bug in the coding and they left it in.
It
and
was
hilarious for everyone.
It was because his like peace thing was like as high as it could be, but then would overwrite itself to 0, right? Isn't that how it worked?
It's basically, yeah, they tried to set it as high as they could, but it looped and when it wasn't meant to, and instead of it staying at the highest, it was looping it to like into the minus. So yeah, and obviously the company realised and they left it in because it's funny, and let's face it, we all find it funny because it's so fucking ironic. Yeah. But personally, I was someone that enjoyed Beyond Earth. I know a lot of people bitched about it, but and you know, might get some hate here. I also purchased the DLC for the Beyond Earth,
Oh.
which was the Rising Tides. No, in
That-
fairness, I didn't buy it at full price because I didn't deem it worth it.
In fact,
Yeah,
he
on
bought it
Kingwin.
from Kingwin. Go to kingwin.com/Romeros now.
I probably did purchase it from Kingpin as well, but I did purchase it at 50%. No, it was on a Steam sale. I purchased it at 50%. I thought it was definitely worth the money. It was fun. It added new things in it, like the fact that I could move my cities into the water.
I know so little about Beyond Earth
I
because
genuinely
I just saw it and I was like, fuck it, I can't be asked.
I had
I
zero
mean-
interest in that. It came out too close to Civ 5.
Can I just quickly say, by the way, before I end up in a channel and someone like pops up and reminds me, Endless Legend was the game where Civ have stolen their city mechanics from for the latest one, with like the districts and crap. But I mean, I think the issue that people had with Beyond Earth was that it was literally just because it was set in space.
For me, as I said, it was just
No.
too close to 5.
Yeah, I have to agree with Ethan, because obviously at the time there was still a lot of people, especially in the clan, playing Civ 5, and we was really enjoying playing through like DLCs and stuff, and then Beyond Earth come out, and well, everyone knows how expensive Civ is when it first comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Are they doing a season pass for 6? Because they always release DLC.
I don't actually
They
know.
don't actually. I don't really think it's DLC. Oh, okay. The map's DLC and some of that stuff, but
Well, the expansions. I mean, these days a season
They-
pass entitles a lot you to expansions and everything, doesn't it? Really.
they've really done season pass for expansions outside of Witcher 3. I think
Um,
Witcher 3 is a very niche case because it's CD Projekt Red, and
they do it. They do it for Battlefront, although their expansions are just map packs.
yeah,
I've
so
got
they're not really
season.
expansions.
I've got season pass for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, a lot of companies do season passes now. I know Fallout had one.
Yeah, but it's like, at what point do season passes include expansions like Civ? Because Siege gives you 2 new operators and what, a map or 2? That's a
Yeah,
map
but
pack.
I mean, let's be fair. I mean, if we're talking about expansions, I mean, easily you could classify the Fallout DLCs as expansions.
Yeah.
If
definitely.
you put them all together, then maybe, yeah. But
I mean, now we're getting into the grounds of how much content you define as a
I think we're getting to the grounds where
expansion.
I'm just like turning myself into more of a grandpa than I actually am.
Yeah, in my day, a fucking
Back in my
expansion
day.
needed 4 discs to install, and
I would also take this opportunity just to recommend Rainbow Six Siege to any viewers listening. It's a great game, 5v5 PvP, or you can do a 5 PvE.
and we play it in the clan, so come play with us.
We play it in the clan.
Play with
I'm
us.
quite an avid player, even though I've not played. But yesterday they did quite a big update for it.
They did the mid-season patch, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think they call it mid-season.
Blackbeard, if people are familiar with the game, Blackbeard, known for his rifle shield, also
And
known
Blackbeard.
as Who I Main.
Oh.
He's the HP of his shield on his rifle has been reduced from 800 HP to 150. He also gets 2 shields instead of 1, which he can switch between. Doc got a buff where you can actually heal people rather than just revive them. So
Doc actually became quite useful.
Doc has become useful. There was a there's a buff to Twitch. I think it's to do with her drones moving faster, being more quieter, kind of stuff. There's also claymores in now as well. Some attackers have the ability to use claymores, which I think will definitely be a big game changer.
I like the look of Siege, and it's definitely a game that I enjoy watching. But I mean, it's also something, by the way, just a shout out to people that you can very easily get into because they do so many free weekends for it as well. So you can very easily pick up a free weekend and see if you enjoy it. But I think my issue with Siege is that I really wanted it to be a single player game as well.
Yeah, because of the old New York cutscene from the 3 trailers with Patriots that they announced, which looked absolutely incredible. But yeah, they did it with Siege.
I think that I think I've mainly enjoyed it because obviously most people are familiar with my massive commitment to CS:GO. I've since retired from that after reaching such a certain high rank of legendary Eagle Master.
As he flops his internet penis out on the table.
Yes, okay.
This
was a while ago, but the point is that I kind of retired from it because it was just, as much as I enjoy the game and I do see myself maybe getting into it a little bit, spent way too much hours on that game, and I just kind of come to realise it was all for nothing because
So do you
there was
feel
no reason for it? And,
it's not the same kind of scale, but do you kind of feel that Siege is almost like a certain kind of successor in theme to?
I
CS:GO.
like it because to me it feels kind of similar. Not obviously, it's got distinct differences. You're not playing a generic class where you get to choose necessarily between all of these weapons that are available to everyone. You've got set attackers and defenders. You've got set special abilities.
Class thing.
Yeah, you've got set abilities for all of them, and then each different person has different selection of guns. But in the aspect of it's 5v5, that reminds me of CS:GO, and it's kind of one side's kind of counter-terrorist, one side's kind of terrorist. It definitely feels like a really nice replacement for me.
I've got to say,
I like it as well. Sorry to interrupt.
That's right. No, I mean you're the one who's played it, so if anyone's to talk about it,
I was just gonna say, I mean, in my field with CS:GO, especially playing at the rank that I did when I did. I mean, obviously communication and teamwork is one thing, but obviously at that rank, it's very easy for one of you to literally just 1v5. Can happen to you, and it can happen on your team, or even you can do it. But And as much as you can do that in Rainbow Six Siege, I just feel because everyone has special abilities, definitely makes it, kind of taking the CS:GO aspect, but making it definitely a more team orientated. For example, here you've got a guy called Thermite in there, where he can blast through reinforced walls. So he's a very important. In fact, he's one of the must-haves, on my opinion, in a game. So it's very important that you keep that guy alive until he can at least blow up.
So just
Wall.
just because I'm an idiot when it comes to this game, would you basically fail if you had? I mean, can you even have 4 players who play the same character? You
No,
have
you
to have
can't.
like a range of them.
Yeah, like I said, there's a set number of operators on the defenders team that are different from the attackers team, and everyone has different abilities, and only one person can be one operator.
Oh, right, okay. So they kind of ensure that to kind of play online that you have to start learning kind of multiple characters, I guess, so you can get into a game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you start off, they've got this whole recruit rank, which pretty much is just there before you can afford to buy any of the operators. Although, I have to say as well, no, I don't want to sit here and go too much into Rainbow Six Siege, but again, if there is anyone out there considering getting Rainbow Six Siege, or maybe convinced by the stuff I've been saying, well, I'll put some links down below in the.
I would actually like to, in a similar vein, to like kind of call out a game I've been playing a lot of recently, and encourage people to go and buy it, which is also Dead by Daylight, which is I'm not even sure if it might be an alpha release kind of thing,
It
but
was originally we early access. I don't think it is anymore.
yeah, it's so good. For anyone who kind of doesn't know what it is, it's like you have a team of survivors and one killer, and the survivors have to escape from kind of an enclosed arena by completing a number of objectives, while this killer, who's can just like you as he approaches you, you get more intense music and everything. It's a really atmospheric game. Tries to kind of kill you all before you escape, and it is a really good game, and I've been enjoying it a lot. And it's pretty cheap when the sales come by. So I mean, I'm sure we'll start playing it in the clan when enough people have it. So
It definitely looks like a good game. I've admittedly spent I've spent far too many hours watching streams and videos of it. Although speaking about Dead by Daylight, there's that other game, Friday the 13th,
the
isn't it very
13th,
similar?
Well, I think Friday the 13th I don't think is out yet. So I think Dead by Daylight, in a similar way that Overwatch kind of got that Battleborn thing, will have that advantage over them. So I don't think Friday the 13th may ever kind of pick it up.
The only thing I know about it is obviously you've got Jason in it, and it's a 1v7, and that's all I know, literally, from a video.
It's being done by one of the guys from G4 back in the day. Adam Sessler is working on it, so
I do love that kind of genre of games, though. That kind of game where you kind of get 2 different ways of playing it. Like you can play as, say, the killer or Jason or whatever, and you get the thrill out of like hunting these people, out of kind of knowing that you're making them get tense, but at the same time you can be like, oh, today I want to, I kind of want to get my blood pumping. I want to kind of feel a bit nervous and like I'm in a horror film. And you can swap sides. I think more games need to approach things like that, and it's kind of what I like about Siege as well, is that you have the attacking and the defending.
Mm.
I think too many games has just like one kind of way that you can play it, and that you definitely need multiple ways these days to kind of keep people entertained. But last thing I'll say on Dead by Daylight really is that if you've enjoyed watching it streamed, playing it is like exactly the same. You get exactly the kind of same thrills out you do when you watch it as you play it. So if you enjoy watching it, you should definitely pick it up and play it, because I mean it's a great game.
alright. Sounds fun.
I guess we've probably reached. I mean, I don't know how long we've been talking.
About an hour and a half, so we should probably
Yeah,
wrap it
we
up.
should probably.
Yeah,
probably wrap
I
it up.
think we've pretty
Yeah.
much covered everything.
I mean, I'm out of beer.
I mean,
Jody,
that's
your
always
life,
grim.
Well, that's when you know it's the end, really.
I think Jody fell asleep, to be honest.
I don't blame her, to be fair. That sweet accents of ours.
Oh, it was so cathartic. Right, lads.
From us,
Right, guys.
goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like this video, make sure to like, favourite and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and obviously share it with all your friends, fuck buddies and close relatives. Make sure to give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and check out the clan websites. This is the Jodie's pissing song. We sing it while she's really gone. Is she pissing or pooping? We will really never know. It's the Jodie's pissing song.